First of all, I want to thank you for inviting the Tennessee Highway Patrol here tonight to talk a little about traffic safety for the farmer. I'm Lieutenant John Harmon. I live in Sequatchie County. Just to give you a quick little bit of history on my side, I still live on the family farm that's been in my family since before the Civil War, right down in Sequatchie County. We've got about 30 acres left. Run about 25 head of cattle. We keep them in the spring, sell them in the fall. Keep about 90 days, sell them, get a few more, sell them. We don't have any cattle in the wintertime, thank goodness. I'd have to be feeding out in the winter. Don't want to do that. But anyway, this is one of the hardest programs that I have to teach. It's very hard for me to come to the farmers or the Cattlemen's Association or the Farm Bureau, because farmers are exempt from many things. And I started my career 21 years ago. And it's hard for me to stand here and tell you that you don't have to do this, and you don't have to do this, and you don't have to worry about that. Because the law says that a farmer is exempt from many things. And I can't tell you all that stuff in 30 minutes, so I'm just hitting the high points. I started out 21 years ago, and I don't talk about what you're exempt from. Okay? The reason I don't do that is because you're not exempt from safety. The law may say that you're not required to do this, but when you're involved in a crash or an incident, those 12 jury members are going to say, they ain't going to care what that law says. They're going to say, well, you should have been safe while you were doing that. So I don't talk about if you're here tonight for me to tell you that you don't have to do something, you're not going to get much out of me. Because I believe in overcompliance. And I've seen things happen over the years to farmers and to loggers and to people that had exemptions that lose their family farms because they didn't want to do what was right. And I'm here to tell you, I've seen it happen many times. I've got people in Sequatchie County. I've got 2 families down there. I've got a family that lost everything they had worked hard for all their life. And I tried to tell them, you need to keep brakes on your trailer. You need to do this and you need to do that. You need to keep up with the drivers that you have that are driving your truck. They said it never happened to them. And they worked hard for everything they ever had, and they lost it all. Every bit of it. They don't have nothing. And that's sad. And I don't want you to go through that. Okay? First of all, in the Cattlemen's Association, I think the biggest thing is when you're on the road with your truck and trailer. You need to make sure you have brake lights and turn signals on that trailer. Okay? Yeah, farmers are exempt. Well, if you're involved in a crash, every morning do we not see a lawyer on TV? Have you been injured in a crash? Call me. Have you been hit by a truck? Call me. It's every morning and every evening. You want to make sure you have good brake lights and turn signals on your trailers. Okay? You need to make sure that you have good brake lights and turn signals on your truck. Okay? If you've got a tag on, and I need help here because I'm here to help you. And if you've got a question about your equipment, ask it so I can tell you how to fix your equipment. Do I have any tag-along trailers? Anybody got a tag-along trailer? You've got a tag-along trailer. Pull on the bumper hitch, right? Okay. You need to make sure that you got good brake lights and turn signals on that at all times. Okay? The law also says that if anything that's over 1,500 pound gross weight is required to have brakes on one axle. Of course, farmers are exempt from that. But if you purchased a trailer and your trailer has brakes on it, does your trailer have brakes on it? If you purchase a trailer and it has brakes on it, they're required to work. Okay? And they're required to have an emergency breakaway device. That battery box on the tongue on a gooseneck trailer or on the tongue down there. It's got a little cable comes out. It's required to work. Okay, so if you have brakes on your trailer, they're required to work. Okay? You need good safety chains on those trailers. Well, the law says safety chain. You can get by with one chain, but if you've got two, well, they need to be hooked up. And I tell you, I say that because for many years we'd be inspecting trucks, and I'd be inspecting a commercial vehicle. A guy had a backhoe in a dump truck, and I'd be writing him a ticket, and I'd be making him put 4 chains on his backhoe to tie it down, and then a farmer would come by, and the tractor would be bouncing up and down on the trailer, and he wouldn't even have it towed down, and the guy's going, "You write me $500 for a ticket, look at him." That's tough on us. Well, he's exempt. I can't make him tie his thing down. And that's true. There is no load securement in Tennessee for anything other than a commercial motor vehicle that is regulated in commerce. Okay? So technically, I cannot make you tie your farm tractor down on your 16-foot trailer. But when that farm tractor comes off that trailer, don't you think I won't be able to charge you for it coming off and hurting someone under the due care laws and things of that nature? Folks, when you're hauling your equipment on a trailer, tie it down. That's your livelihood. That's your liability. We're living in a different society today. You know, many times, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, we didn't have to worry about nobody in this community. They were just us, farmers. We knew everybody. There are people that are coming to our communities every day that love the ruralness, but they don't understand the rural people. They don't understand the farmers. They got to get from point A to point B with their tractors and things. Okay? So you need to have your equipment, your trailers, brake lights and turn signals, good tires, your breakaway device hooked up. Okay? If you have brakes. If you have a gooseneck trailer and it has safety chains, you need to hook them up. They're not required to be there by law. The safety chains on gooseneck trailers come out of Oklahoma and Texas. That is a state law in Oklahoma and Texas. When they manufacture those out there, they have to put safety chains on them. Okay? There is no federal law and there is no state law in Tennessee that says that you have to have safety chains for a gooseneck trailer. But that being said, if you have a safety chains on your gooseneck trailer and you choose not to use them and you're involved in an incident, I'm not going to say anything because it's not against the law. But if you're involved in an incident, that attorney's going to say, hey, you had a safety mechanism here that you chose not to use. And if that would have been on there, your trailer wouldn't have come off that ball. And believe me, they're coming off the balls. People are losing trailers every day. Somewhere in my 12 counties, every day, somebody's losing something. So, you're not required to have a trailer tag on your trailer because it's a farm trailer. I would recommend that you do. Okay? Put it on there for theft purposes. Odds are they ain't going to steal a trailer if it's got a tag on it. That tag's $75 one-time fee, never have to buy it again. If it's a farm trailer you've had for years and you want to put a tag on it, you'll probably have to apply for a homemade trailer inspection. We can come out, myself or Department of Revenue will come out and inspect it and then put a VIN number on it so you can get a tag for it if you don't have a title for it. Just trying to bounce here. Width. You're only allowed 8 foot 6 inches. Okay? The width in Tennessee is 8 foot 6 inches. Anything that's wider than 8 foot 6 inches, everybody else is required to get a permit. A farmer's not. But if you're wide, you need to protect that load. Okay? I'll give you an example. You're exempt from things within 50 miles of the farm for hay bales. Okay? Or even width. 50 miles from the farm, and then you can take it to a dealership to have it worked on. Okay? Combines, your big tractors, your big equipment. Folks, I highly recommend when you're traveling down the road, you turn all lights on, four-ways, headlights, everything you got. You want that oncoming traffic to know you're coming. And you need to have somebody with flashers in front of you like an escort vehicle. It's not required, but you're protecting yourself. I'd have one behind and I'd have one in front. And I wouldn't be playing on that road unless I had to be on that road. I would try every way in the world to get from point A to point B in certain times during the day when it's slow and less traveled, because you're vulnerable. What we're seeing is so many people have distractions and they're not paying attention. They're on their cell phone, and you have an oversized combine, tractor, bush hog, whatever, batwing bush hogs, things of that nature, hay rakes, all your equipment. You've got to protect yourself these days, folks, because somebody's hunting somebody to sue somebody. You've got to protect yourself. So I don't stand up here and say you don't have to have this, you don't have to have that. I don't believe in that anymore. I don't believe in that anymore. We had a local, it's been about 3-4 years ago, it was on Sunday afternoon on the East Valley Road in Sequatchie County. Boy I grew up, went to school with, he's a farmer down there. He had it, I believe it was his hay rake. I did not work the crash. He was traveling from one field to the other field. Had his four-ways on, even had an escort behind him with a little yellow light or a flag with his four-ways to protect him. On the East Valley Road, traveling. That farmer was not at fault in this crash. Someone out of Chattanooga riding a motorcycle in the beautiful Sequatchie Valley on Sunday afternoon, come flying around the East Valley Road, lost control, and they got his leg cut. He went around the escort vehicle, okay? Went around and then lost control and slid underneath the hay rake, cut his leg off. Needless to say, since the Highway Patrol worked the crash, the boy did everything right. He was in his lane of traffic. He had one of the triangles, an orange triangle, had an escort behind him, flashers. Needless to say, we didn't write he did nothing wrong. There was a lawsuit, and now that farm is struggling because they sued. You don't have to be wrong to be sued. So it's important that when you get out on that road to be safe. Have them brake lights and turn signals. Have all your safety equipment hooked up. If you're hauling your equipment, tie it down. Tie it down. I don't care if you're going from here to Sequatchie County, tie it down. Or here to Crossville. If you got 4 ratchet straps on there, put 4 on it. Don't just put 1 or 2. Use it all. Use it all. Now, does anybody have any questions on anything so far? Or a piece of equipment that they have? A farmer is a farmer. You can be farming you can have a farm, but if your farming operation is 99% farm and you have 1% commercial enterprise, it supersedes your whole farming operation. And where I'm going with this is because if you're farming and then I catch you outside of farming going down here to build the Walmart or the dollar store on your lower 40 acres, you ain't farming no more. That's a full-blown commercial business. So you need to understand that. If you're farming and you've got 100 acres and you go down the road and you're building you a subdivision, that ain't farming no more. At that point in time, that equipment all becomes commercial enterprise. At that point in time, you don't get by with the farm tags anymore. You got to have a commercial license. You got to have a commercial driver's license. Commercial tags. You're in commercial business. So it supersedes your farming operation. Yes, sir.
How does that affect, say, if it's commercial harvesting or commercial mowing or something that you're doing of that nature? Say you're going to bush off somebody else.
I don't want to hear much of that.
Doesn't happen,
You got to be real careful. If you're in the mowing business, if you're mowing for the state, sorry about your luck. You're 100% commercial. If you're a farmer and you're out doing a little bush hogging, we teach our guys, and I teach the troopers, okay? I teach the patrol. I've taught every trooper since 2006 the truck stuff, the federal and state truck stuff. We tell them, and matter of fact, we've even started teaching cities and counties truck stuff because Highway Patrol can't do it all. We tell them, leave the farmer alone. We tell them, I ain't bashful, leave the farmer alone. If he is farming, leave him alone. He gets a 150-mile radius for federal and state law, 150 miles from his farm as far as the federal regulations are concerned. Within the state of Tennessee, a farmer is exempt from Mountain City to Memphis. Okay, under the regulations, except for a commercial driver's license if he's driving a truck that requires a CDL. Okay, and if it bends in the middle, it's articulated, he's required a medical card. Okay, we don't even worry about that. Leave the farmer alone. Leave him alone. But if you go outside 150 miles, you're game. All bets are off. Okay, but now if you stay within the state of Tennessee, you're okay. But if you go into 150 miles into Atlanta, then you're regulated. Now, let's see, where was it?
You're regulated to get back to Tennessee, or?
Well, once you pass the 150 miles from your farm, you're 100% in the book, in the regulations. There is no exemption anymore.
Well, it's coming from that going down to the cattle sale there in Georgia down there.
About how many miles?
It's about 175 miles here it is. One way.
I know the boys. If you're in a gooseneck truck and trailer, you're probably going to be fine. Because we're leaving those farmers alone. Now, if you've got an 18-wheeler and you've got a DOT number, odds are you're going to get looked at. But if you're just in a gooseneck truck and trailer hauling cattle, they ain't going to fool with you. They ain't going to fool you. That being said, I got to let you know this, okay? We regulate, and the regulations are so broad, okay? We could be here for a 40-hour week with all these regulations, I'm being honest with you. But you need to understand when you're going to market and you've got a 20-foot trailer and you put your 10 cows on there, it's going to market, and then you want to charge $1 a loaded mile, if that's what the market's bringing, I don't know what it is, and you don't want to take his 10 because he don't have a trailer, and he's going to pay you now to haul his 10 to the market the same day. By the rule, and technically at that point in time, you just became a U.S. Express. You're a for-hire carrier, fully regulated underneath the rules of every book I've got. You got to have a minimum of $750,000 worth of insurance. I regulate you 100%. So, those are always your cows. Got that? But, that being said, The insurance agent is going to treat you the same way. You better answer the question the same way, because when the insurance agent finds out that you're doing that now, and I know that's the way the business is, it's been that way and always will be. But the insurance agent sometimes might give you a little problem there too if you're in an incident, because, you know, depending on your agent. I'm just bouncing here, help me out. Tags for your truck. You can get by with a farm tag, okay? The joint tag. That agricultural tag that you've got that's got the, you know, the farm and the barn and you can't put that on your truck hauling cattle. That's for your car and your pickup truck. You have to register your truck for the weight of what you're the truck and whatever you're hauling. So you need that joint tag, that farm tag. That green novelty tag doesn't carry any weight. It's just going into a fund, okay? So if you're going to haul cattle or haul your tractor or haul your corn, you got to have a minimum of a J tag. And you can only use that for farming purposes, okay? Starts at J2, 16,000 pounds, goes to 80,000 pounds. About $750, I believe, for the 80,000 pounds. It's half price. A commercial is going to cost you about $1,600. The farm tag is going to cost about $750.
Can I pull my camper with a farm tag?
You can. You can. But you can't haul that backhoe down here to grade my driveway, because at that point in time you're in business. Okay? I'd make you have a commercial license plate for that, along with many other things. Problem. Hey, here's the big problem, folks. You're your own worst enemy. Tie the hay bales down. You need to tie them down. Nobody goes back and picks them up when they lose them. Do you? No. What are you doing laughing? You kind of, yeah. Look at that.
They won't even claim them.
Nobody don't claim them.
Well, what about last night? You look at
Oh, well, yeah. Sure enough, after a car hits, nobody shows up.
Tell these boys what these people do whenever you haul your grain in, haul somebody else's. They don't get you going, they get you coming.
Oh, we get you any way we want you. No, sure enough, tie your hay down. Tie your hay down. You're responsible for that. If it comes off and hits a car and you ain't got it tied down, that's willful and intentional. So you could be charged for that criminally, even though the law says you don't have to tie it down. We're living in a different society, folks. They don't understand. They don't understand. So we have to protect ourselves and protect each other within our industry. Give me some more.
A lot of people haul 11-foot bales, 5 bales on the trailer.
5-foot bales. 5-foot bales. I'd have to go to my book for that, but, well, 2 5-foot bales are not 10 feet. I know, I measured them. And you're not supposed to haul them. Let's see, they'll wind up being about 5 foot 6 inches, be about 11 feet, won't they? After you put them together. I don't see too many troopers out there measuring them, but you need to protect those. Okay? You don't need to be running 100 miles with those without them being tied down. What else? Anybody got a dozer? You got a dozer?
Yeah.
How wide's the blade?
10 foot.
10 foot, okay? You need to back it on. Anytime you got your dozer, you don't haul it, okay? Okay.
When do we have to have a CDL?
For a farmer, after 150 miles. A farmer gets an exemption from a CDL for 150 miles. Okay?
They told us several years ago, anything over 26,000 GPW.
It's always been that way, but a farmer gets an exemption for 150 miles. I don't care how big you are.
Okay.
As long as you stay within 150 miles of your farm, you're exempt from the commercial driver's license.
As long as you stay in the state of Tennessee.
Nope. That 150 miles will take you into Georgia or Kentucky or North Carolina. It's 150 miles from your farm. Georgia, everybody, it's under federal law, right? But if you go beyond 150 miles and that vehicle's over 26,000 pounds, then you're required a CDL.
Is that distance as the bird flies?
It's 100, okay. 100, it is. 100 air miles is equal to 115.8 road miles. 115.8. Okay? 115.8 road miles. All right? So 150, that would be half of 15.8, so you add another 7 miles to that, you get your air miles. You ain't gonna have a problem. You stay within 150 miles. Okay? I don't care what you got. Now in Tennessee, I have to explain this to you this way. You're exempt totally in the state of Tennessee from Memphis to Mountain City from a safety inspection, from the regulations, except the CDL licenses. It's held to 150 miles. So anywhere in Tennessee, you're exempt from the regulations, okay? Except 150 miles beyond your farm, like him, Mountain City. Once he gets to Cookville, is it about 150 miles? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little over 100 in Knoxville, yeah.
Okay, so when he drives to Cookville, and from Cookville on, he has to have a CDL license, but that's all I'm requiring him to have. Okay?
Over
He
how
don't-
much weight, over how much weight?
26,000 pounds. Okay? Now, if he drives from Mountain City or Bristol into North Carolina, he's got 150 miles. And once he gets to that 150 miles, every book applies to him because he's outside the state. The
What
legislature,
about your employees?
they're fine, same goes. It's in the book. Employees, family counts. Okay?
Just back that forward over 10 foot or wider is the one going back on.
Yes, sir.
What's
Yes,
the
sir.
line of thinking with that?
It's, the line of thinking for that is a protruding object. When your blade is pointed out there and you're wider than 10 foot, the road width on a good state road's 12 feet wide. That ain't counting the county or city, okay? So when you get a 10-foot blade there, well, you're hanging off.
And it'll suck a vehicle right in it.
Yes. And so the purpose of that is that protruding object to back that on. It's still going to tear the car up, but it's not going to cut it like something like that. That's for a skidder. That's for any type of blade. Any type of blade. Now, when you're hauling that equipment, there needs to be 4 attachment points to that tractor, okay? Or that backhoe, or that dozer. And who's got backhoes? If you got a backhoe, you need to put 4 attachment points, okay? And another attachment point over the boom. Over the boom. Okay. Weight. Give you a little weight. A farmer gets 10% tolerance. Okay? You get 10% tolerance on your weight. If you got an 80,000 pound truck, who's got 18-wheelers? A couple of you? 18-wheelers? Well, whatever you've got, you get 10% on your commodity. Okay? Whether it be corn, whether it be cattle. But you only get that 10% tolerance is when you're on a state road or a county road. You don't get that 10% tolerance on the interstate system. Nobody gets 10% tolerance on the interstate system. So if you're hauling beans or corn or soybean or hay or whatever to market or somewhere, or hauling it in, when you're on the interstate, you don't get the tolerance. It's only counted on state roads. Okay?
Just take you a little longer to get there than.
It will. It will. It will. Trying to think here. I don't know what you have. Ask you questions about your own equipment. I'll try to answer them for you.
How about cattle on highway?
Cattle on the highway, walking down the street?
What's the fencing law?
Farm Bureau needs to speak on that. I've got that, if you contact the Farm Bureau or the Agriculture Extension Office, wherever he is, there's a pamphlet. Are you the Agriculture Extension man?
Farm Bureau, close.
Yeah, Farm Bureau
Farm
has
Bureau,
that.
right there's the man.
Yeah. That was a great answer too.
They need to speak on that. You're supposed to have good fence. I do know that. You're supposed to have good fence. Okay?
I think it goes back to kind of what you were talking about earlier. You know, you may get out of being in trouble, but that may not keep you out of a lawsuit. You know, you may not be
correct.
criminally charged, but if you lose a farm, that's enough for me, you know.
And if you go by the Farm Bureau office, we put together, it's probably been 10 years ago, and it's pretty close to right now. There are 2 pamphlets that we put together that talk about farming laws, farm equipment, or farm laws. One of them's blue and white, and then one of them's red and white. There are 2 good pamphlets on the rules and regulations regarding farming that we put together for the Farm Bureau. The Highway Patrol did. So they're very good pamphlets that you can get. Good resource.
I believe one of them's trucking laws, isn't it?
Farm and trucking laws, yes,
Yes.
yes.
You said 4 points, does that mean you want 4 tie downs or one chain across there with the moon on it, or what?
There's a formula to it. There is truly a formula, okay? And there again, I can't make you. But I'm trying to protect you from those that don't understand this. I like to see 4 attachment points, because when you just put one chain over it, okay, and there's a formula to it depending on how much the equipment weighs. And then you got to get what the grade chain is and the weakest link to that formula. I like to see a good 4-point attachment to any piece of equipment. Do I always see that? My dad puts a tractor on the trailer. I'll be lucky for him to put 1 chain on it. I have to go around behind him and say, Daddy, there's 3 more in there. Let's put them on. And we're just going right up here. Let's put them on there. I've got to get him to plug the brakes into the trailer. And the reason for that is if you just put 1 across it, if it gets loose, it's loose. If you've got 4 attachment points and 1 get loose, you still got 3 on there. Because, I seen a dozer fall off a trailer over here, slide off a trailer on Highway 27 in Dayton. He turned around from the courthouse, got up on 27, and the dozer slid off on the asphalt. Was that you over there?
No, I know who it was. It was the sheriff.
That's why they didn't want me to hang around. Right there on Highway 30.
30 and 27.
Yes, sir. I was coming back from that. I was coming back.
Now you know the story, don't you?
I do. Because I thought, man, I'll just be honest with you. A couple years ago.
Yeah.
I was coming back, I'll be honest, I was coming back from Decatur and I seen them go up there and I thought, ooh, that looks interesting there. Had a dozer out there and I pulled up the city police right there and I thought, ooh, fix to give me some of this. Gonna give me a ticket or 2, and I ease up there and think, boys, y'all need some help? I said, no, we don't need your help. And it sure did. He was making a lot of that thing that slid right over. Now I the story.
That's it.
And now I know why they didn't want me hanging around.
Go on home.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You know, it's funny you say that. You know, you want me working, but you want me working on him, not you, right? Everybody wants me working, but they don't want me working on them. They want me working on somebody else.
Because when something happens, we've already learned from our mistake.
Oh, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. I'm waiting on you all to give me some more questions of your own equipment. I'm not hunting you. Yes, sir.
Several times the state's pretty lax on mowing the right of way. Johnson grass gets about 10 foot tall. You have a hard time getting out of your driveway sometimes. And I'll go by with a bush hog and bush hog it.
Commercial, you gotta give them that.
State ain't paying him, I promise you that. It's a freebie.
I'm not getting paid, am I liable?
No, I wouldn't think so. That'd be a T-Dot issue, but I ain't gonna say that.
What he, excuse me, what he's saying, if a car hits him out there, I'm on.
That's,
Well, I've got the flashers going and everything anyway. But I
you're actually mowing on state right away.
Right.
To where he can get out of his seat and get out of
Yeah,
his driveway.
I'm 100% with you.
He just doing civic duty.
That's exactly right. You know, that's let's hope that never happens.
I do.
Let's hope that never happens, but you know, a lawyer will sue anybody for anything. I mean, they're just practically saying, if you've hurt my feelings, I'll sue you. True. I mean,
My brother was driving one of my tractors, turning in my driveway, turning left. Double yellow line. Right there before you get to Vulcan, before you go down that hill.
On 30, yeah.
On 30. Well, this pickup truck, he gave a hand signal, which didn't have a turn signal. This pickup truck pulled around and hit him. Well, the deputy said, I don't know if he can pass on a double yellow line or not. I said, wait a minute.
I ain't going there. Let me touch on something else. 4-inch law. When you're hauling your grain, or you fertilize, or you corn to market, or wherever you're taking that back to the field, there's the 4-inch law that's in a dump truck or in an open bed trailer or on those fertilized machines. It's the 4-inch law. That load is required except a farmer now, okay? That being said, it's supposed to be loaded within 4 inches of the sideboard, okay? 4 inches below, okay? I regulate everybody but the farmer. But here's the point. And the reason for that is it can be high in the middle, but it has to be 4 inches below the sidewalls, tailgate and everything. And that's for settlement, okay? So when you leave the field or you leave the co-op and it's bouncing around, that's for the settlement to settle in there and not get on the roadway or on somebody's windshield. In the statute, it says farmers are exempt from the 4-inch law. But that being said, if you knock out somebody's window, or it comes off your truck or your trailer, or big old chunk of fertilizer comes off that fertilizer wagon and it bounces up and knocks somebody's windshield out, you're liable. You know, and even though the law says I can't write you a ticket for it, but if something was to happen, you're liable. Okay?
So those trucks that had the signs that say not responsible for whatever comes
No,
off.
now that's in the law. The truck that says, it says keep back 500 feet, you can go, you don't have, that's nothing. I would, but I mean, where it says not liable, it says not liable for road hazards.
Yeah.
If the rock comes off the road, he's not responsible. But if it comes out of the bed of that truck, he's responsible. So as he's picking up gravel off the road and it comes from a tire, it's a road hazard. He's not responsible. But if it comes out of that truck, he's responsible. How you know is if he's got gravel on that beaver tail or that dove tail on the back where they didn't wipe it off, that's my evidence right there. Or if he is not, it's different. I can make him be within the law of the 4 inches, because when I show up and he's rolling off the side, I'm stopping him and I'm parking him and I'm making him fix it, and he's getting a $400 ticket. And then I'm gonna make him tarp it. Okay? So there's ways of getting those. But now if something happened to your windshield and we show up and there's gravel and there's evidence that it came out of that truck, he's liable. Now if I get there and there's no gravel on the rail and there's none on the dovetail and he looks in compliance, odds are it could have come off the truck. Trying to think.
How about on the flatbed if they've not cleaned it out?
Well, if you're in a commercial business, I'm going to make you sweep it off. If you're a farmer, I have to tell you the law. I mean, but if it bounces off and knocks somebody's windshield out or knocks somebody's eye out, you're liable. We'll come up and then we can write you a ticket under different rules, but I can't make you fix it. Okay? I can't make you fix it. Now, there's some interpretations out there where there are times, and this, I don't know whether, I'm just being honest because it's really vague for all of us. Anything that's less than 26,000 pounds in intrastate commerce that stays solely within the state that's in a commercial business, I don't regulate it. They exempted them, kind of like farmers. But in the statute it says, unless a level 1 law enforcement trooper, which means they can do the safety inspection, crawl under and check brakes, which is one of my guys, if I see that person that doesn't have his tractor tied down, that's what I consider an out of service item, or a load securement, stuff laying on a trailer that ain't tied down. If it's less than 26,000 pounds, I can stop him and make him fix it, but I can't write him a ticket. And I can't do a safety inspection, but I can make him fix it, but I can't write him a ticket. So it's challenging for us too. It's challenging for us too. But what I want you to get out of this is the biggest thing is think about yourself and the things that you've worked hard for all your life. And I know some of you are many years older than me. You'd like to leave what you've worked for your family, that was left from your family to you, that you'd like to leave it to your kids and grandkids. You don't want to lose it out here on 127 or Highway 27 in a crash where you could have put a safety chain, tied your tractor down. I want you to be safe. Or when you're running that tractor down the road, be safe. Be safe. Yes?
You were talking about gooseneck trailers a while ago. They are supposed to be equipped with brakes, right?
Farmers are exempt.
I said are supposed to be.
Everybody but a farmer.
All right, wait a minute. Go back to the safety issue. If you wreck,
Okay?
there's a liability that the lawyer could say that your brakes aren't working.
If it
aren't
was,
hooked up.
that's correct. That's correct. If you have brakes on your trailer and you chose not to use them, even though you're not required to have them, you chose not to use the safety equipment that was furnished to you, you can be liable. I mean, you got to think about it. 12 jury members up there looking at you and saying, you had brakes on your trailer and you had 20 head of cattle that weighed 500 pounds apiece, and you chose not to use these brakes, and you lost your brakes on your truck coming down the mountain and killed this family. That's not good business.
If you have them on there, they have to be in working order, right?
Yes, yes,
Whether you use them or not, but they
that's
have
correct.
to.
That's correct.
What about age for driving tractors and bigger trucks and not CDL trucks, but it's all good, right?
Gotta have driver's license.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, you gotta have driver's license. As far as the vehicle's concerned, as far as tractors, there's nothing on tractors. That I'm aware of. That I'm aware of. Yes.
If you're pulling a gooseneck with a dually ton truck, do you need to have the tag on the back of the truck or on the front?
Listen up now. Got a good question. Very good question. Where'd you learn that? The question was, this young man over here asked where the tag is required to be displayed on a truck. The law says anything over 3/4 ton, that would be a ton or above, the law says that the tag is required to be on the front bumper. It doesn't say commercial vehicle, it doesn't say farmer, it says any truck, okay, with a non-panel, that's like a bread truck, okay, a UPS truck, okay, they can be on the back. But a pickup truck over 3/4 ton, the tag is required to be on the front bumper. We do not enforce that unless you're in a commercial business, okay? Our troopers, if you see a commercial vehicle coming down the road and that tag is on the back bumper, he can stop you and write you a ticket and make you put it on the front bumper. If it's a private citizen that has a big 4-door F-450, the law says it's supposed to be on the front bumper. We don't care. We're leaving the private citizen alone. We're focused on our commercial vehicles. Now, that's not to say that some city police or sheriff's department don't write you a ticket, because when they pull up at that red light and they see you don't have a tag on the back of your truck, they pull you and write you a ticket and make you put it on the back bumper. Well, they need to read their book, because the law says the Tennessee Highway Patrol enforces the law by the statute. We don't just write tickets just to be writing them. So if that was to happen to you, then you'd go back to court and say, Your Honor, this is the statute. A trooper told me where to put it. Okay?
What do you do when the judge tells you?
You gotta do what the judge tells you to do. Because he's told me a time or two. Okay, very good question. Very good question.
Ask him what the judge will tell you. A lot of judges will just say, well, if you wasn't there and you didn't have it where he said it was, pay this ticket, have a good day.
That's why he's the judge.
And you do you that way, what done me, $110. And I was in the right, I didn't have no rights.
Well, the time he told me, he said dismissed. You was wrong. I said, yes, sir, Your Honor.
Well, I did.
Okay. Anybody else? I know I've been over my 30 minutes, but,
Hey?
yeah. What else? Game. Now's the time.
And stop.
Anybody up there in Dayton?
Good job.
You sure you ain't got no problems up there? The sheriff, yeah, sheriff.
You learned something.
Oh, yeah. Anybody else? I hope I was able to help you.